Our module 1 is what is real estate due diligence all about? Learning objectives at the end of this module 1, agent broker should understand the due diligence process. It's not just a paperwork, it is a safety process before a buyer proceed with a transaction. So, allow me to quote my idol also, no? According to attorney Raymond Bato, which our lawyer broker based in Davao, due diligence is the investigation or exercise of care that a buyer is normally expected to do before entering into a real estate sales agreement with the seller. In simple broker language, due diligence means checking before commitment, no? Uh, Before the buyer pay a reservation fee, earnest money, or down payment, or sign a contract to sell, or a deed of sale, the property must be inspected. Pero sabi ko nga dito, it's not just on the buyer side. Unang part of the due diligence must be done also on the listing side broker team. Kasi pag nagkamali tayo, nag-misrepresent tayo on our listing property, we're also liable. We will discuss that also later. So, initial Q&A. Why is due diligence very important? Because not all properties are ready, clean, transferable, or safe to buy. Due diligence help prevent title problems, fake sellers, boundary issues, tax problem, zoning issues, and legal disputes. So, ito maya-maya or sa ibang modules, we will discuss more about this concern. Bakit kailangan yung due diligence? Because these are few of the concerns. So sino ba talaga ang gagawa ng due diligence? So the buyer, yes, the buyer will do. The buyer broker, of course. Seller broker, yes, you must have be the part. Kumbaga, bago natin i-upload for MLS or i-market yung property, we need to make sure the property is legally feasible to sell. Kumbaga, bago tayo magbenta ng pagkain, alam natin luto, hindi hilaw, tamang timpla. So bago tayo magbenta ng property, we wanted to make sure that property we represent it's legally feasible to market. Legal, walang concern the legal issue, paper documentation, feasible, lahat ng mga heirs or lalo na mga siblings nagbebenta, dapat lahat not portion, not majority, but 100% are sellers, no, willing to sell. So can an agent do everything alone? So palagi kong sinasabi sa mga kasamahan din natin mga ahente-ahente or sabihin natin salesperson under PRC na agent cannot do it alone. Agent can assist and coordinate, but the legal, technical, tax, and survey matters must be verified by proper professionals. Yung accountant, yung surveyor, yung lawyer, yung real estate broker, kung saan si ahente nag-work under the supervision of that licensed broker. So, we don't, kumbaga, hindi natin inalis yung mga ahente or mga enterprising agents natin na gustong mag-livelihood into real estate. We're not pinagbawalan natin sila, hindi naman. What we want is they must be under the supervision with a licensed broker. Parang a bookkeeper, always supervised by a licensed accountant. So, dito naman, ahente-ahente, kahit PRC accredited ka pa na salesperson, dapat you are supervised by your licensed broker. So, sample case muna tayo, no? A buyer liked the property and is ready to pay the reservation fee immediately. The agent says, yes po, clean title ni sir. Walang problema. No, but in reality, nakapagsabi yung ahente, or sabihin na lang natin, may ibang kasamaan din nating broker, yes, clean title yan, Sam, walang problema. But in reality, as a seller side, di pa nga siya nakakuha ng verified title. Kumbaga, hindi pa siya nakakuha ng certified true copy ng title, tax deck. So paano niya makapag-confirm na it is a clean title document. Sinabi lang daw ng may-ari, ng etc. So, the only way you know that is you need to validate, verify it in the ROD na with the certified true copy, the latest certified true copy. So, another question, no seller identity verification. Baka fake yan, scammer yan, no? No tax check were done. Lesson here is never rely only on a verbal assurance. Always verified document before money moves. So, dito muna tayo, I'll give you some case actual nangyari. Okay? Una tayo dito sa mga document. May mga nagsabi ng mga kasamahan natin na, of course, hindi ko na lang i-mention yung name, no? I respected, they are also licensed broker. Kaya nga, the reason I'm doing this, parang advocacy na lang natin because we are dealing with fellow brokers natin nationwide. So, during my time, not all brokers are sharing their knowledge, their experience. Kaya naman tuloy-tuloy, hindi natin maiwasan na theory is theory, but iba yung nasa practice na actual, no? So, may mga na-experience tayong transaction na akala ng listing broker, trabaho ng buyer side broker to verify. So they just submit and submit. So they've been spending months of effort and money in advertising. Then nakita natin sa Lamudi or sa MLS yung listing nila. So pinasilip natin sa kliyente natin. Then when we exchange document na, when I get certified true copy, dun lumabas my adverse claim. From the first thing first, sabi ko sa kasama nating broker, sabi mo malinis, ba't may adverse claim ito ngayon? Yun pala, never siya lang kumuha ng certified true copy on the RD. So, naniwala lang siya sa salita ng property owner. Si property owner naman nabigla, bakit merong ganon? Okay, so, yun pala, may utang. Then nag-adverse claim doon. Maraming case. May isang case pa ako dito sa Mandaue na the seller are 7 siblings. 7. Yung isa may utang. Nagnegosyo ng alahas, kumuha siya ng wholesale din nagbebenta. So hindi siya nakabayad. So hinabol yung share niya nung supplier ng alahas. So nagtago, bottom line na panalo, tsaka na-annotate doon sa title yung claim na yung 1/7 share is being awarded in favor to that wholesaler ng alahas. So, nalaman na lang namin yan when we do certified true copy on the buyer side na may na-annotation pala doon. Hindi alam ng ibang kapatid. Akala nila malinis yung document. So, hindi namin maibenta kasi hindi nila kilala yung nag-annotate. So, we research kung sino yung party na yun. At least at the end of more than a month, nahanap din namin. Okay? Dito naman sa seller identity, we need to verify. Nandun yung we need to ask. Kumbaga, magmarites tayo. So, we go back to the property with all the identification of the seller. Tanong natin sa mga kapitbahay kung si Juan de la Cruz, based on this picture on the ID, kilala nila ito ba si Juan de la Cruz? Ito bang property owner dito? So, tanong-tanong tayo. Tsaka, government ID, yung pwede natin ma-validate. Okay, so we have a case in Talisay. The seller group, we are on the buyer side. So we have a buyer for that property. The seller group presented after several exchange document. So nagustuhan ng client namin, we're willing now to put an earnest money. Earnest money pa naman, no? Then we have part of that LOI with the earnest money kasunduan is we're giving another 60 days kasi malaking transaction yon to do deeper due diligence with the property. Nagkataon yung registered owner is based in Manila. May according to the broker side, seller side broker represented by ahente niya na mga ano pa naman yon, teacher ng isang university dito. So mga kilalang respected professor, tsaka yung broker, even senior in my practice, I will not mention name na lang, no? Pinakilala nila yung si Junior Peter de la Cruz Jr., sabihin na lang natin, ganon. na ito yung pamangkin, ito yung may attorney in fact to sign, accept, receive the earnest money. So, nangyari, of course, pinakilala nila. Sila yung broker side, seller side, and they introduced to us Peter Jr., no? Na representative attorney in fact ng registered owner. So, earnest money pa naman yun. So, we accepted and we exchanged documents. This that happened on me, it happened to my associate in my firm. So, when we do our due diligence now with all the valid ID, yung driver's license niya, pinabalidate namin sa, of course, sa agency who issued the driver's license. Doon namin nalaman yung photo, yung picture ni Peter Jr., iba sa picture doon sa totoong Peter Jr. So, when we question, nalaman namin that person acted as a Peter Jr., it's a scam, identity thief. So, with our lawyer, we send demand to retract, bawiin yung earnest money. Ang defense naman ng seller group, naloko din daw sila. So, ang point natin, yes, but again, this is the first part ng mga seller group because you're gonna lose your integrity na you're not doing your job. Imagine you waste 6 months at that transaction na they wasted 6 months. Akala namin patapos, akala nila patapos na. Yun pala, naloko lahat. Sa 6 months ba naman na hindi nila na due diligence properly the Peter Jr. if this guy representing attorney in fact of the property is the real owner, no? So these are mga case actual nangyari. So kailangan talaga validation, verification ng identity ng seller. Ito naman taxes. We will discuss more cases but allow me to share, baka malimutan ko naman. Why are we needed? Kumbaga, seller group tayo. Bakit kailangan kasama sa initial verification mo yung seller BIR TIN number? Because in our case, nangyari na yan, yung seller side, yung accountant nila is also a licensed broker. Sinabi na niya sa registered owner on title na Maria, you are not vatable. Okay, non-vatable. It's okay, buti. So we transacted the deal, maliit lang yun, a little over 3 million na resell property. When we pay on the BIR for assessment computation, lumabas si Maria is vatable. Ngayon, nagpingpong. Kasi gusto ni Maria on nakasunduan net. Buti na lang when we review our LOI, letter of intent to buy, naisulat ko doon na yes net yung offer niya. So initimize ko na capital gain, doc stamp, etc. is shouldered by the buyer. But seller shoulder the RPT, kung may mga RPT or association dues na hindi pa nabayaran. At naisulat ko din doon yung broker's commission na 5% shoulder ng seller. At naisulat ko doon, buti na lang, na if the transaction is vatable, kasi they claim it's not vatable. Kaya, pero naisulat ko pa din na if the transaction is vatable, it is shouldered by the seller. So, because of that, and again, bakit ba nangyari yon? Nag-insist kasi si broker at that time na hindi vatable. Sana binalidate nila, verify nila sa BIR para wala yung hindi yan, parang sabi-sabi lang, no? Ano ba yan? Parang presumption, assumption lang, no? Sa sarili na it's not vatable. And bakit naging vatable? Because si Maria may boarding house business, apartment, registered single proprietorship. Anong TIN number gamit? Maria TIN number. So, the TIN number of Maria lumabas na engaged in real estate. Kaya, naging vatable, pati yung pagbenta niya ng mga property. So, that's the actual case, ha? So, para malinaw, dapat pa-validate natin yung seller TIN number. Another case na nangyari is in Naga, we purchased some property. Lumabas, yung property na yon is owned by, sabihin na lang natin, lawmen. Si lawmen is single proprietorship running a commercial leasing property. Well, willing to pay back naman, walang issue. But the concern here is this. When we have the proper TIN number verify, lumabas ang dami niyang open case. Sa sinabi ng BIR na, Sam, bago niyo bilhin ito, advise lawmen to settle the open case. Kasi hindi namin, ito first time ko to yun na experience. Sabi ko, what's the relationship of the taxes paying for the related to the sale of property tsaka itong open case niya? Sabi ng taga BIR, Sam, after the pandemic, the mandate of the itaas, DOJ is, Department of Finance is as much possible, pag ganitong mga transaction, mga may open cases yung seller, we need to collect their open cases para bago magbenta ng property. Which is the best time for us to collect money. Kasi si seller, hindi na iiwas kasi magbebenta na siya ng property, hindi namin pa-process pag hindi niya sinettle yung open cases niya. Okay, so mga few sample lang muna yun ha. Hope medyo may natutunan kayo doon.